Hello,
Hi, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. You are Joel.
That's correct. Yeah, Joel.
Oh, wow. Okay. My name is Leo.
Nice to meet you, Leo. I thought I was meeting Mark.
Okay. We advise Mark. Um, if he scheduled it, then he should be along any second. Um, or I could text him, make sure he's along. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Mark, comma. We are waiting for you on the Zoom call you scheduled with Joel. Let me know approximately what time you can make it. Sorry about that.
No, it's totally okay. He
So
just
generally what happens
mentioned,
is Mark has done this before a few times. You're providing a service, and because I advise him, he wants to have my opinion on it. We designed his business blueprint. We've helped him double the size of his business in the last year and a half or so. So pretend I am Mark.
oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know what I was really getting this conversation was. He just mentioned having a talk about uh, something along those lines. And I'm always one to take the meeting, so I
Okay.
just came to learn.
Okay. What kind of business do you do, Joel?
I'm in the I'm in the world of finance, so investment and insurance advisor.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Well, we have helped Mark with tax strategies and investment advice. I'm teaching him how to do cryptocurrency trading, day trading,
Wow.
especially shorting. Um, he likes to do a lot of real estate flipping. So we are in the process of finding him investors to help him do more real estate flipping. If you know someone. Um, and his main business is, adding second floors to houses mainly.
Mm. And so, what exactly is your company like? What is it you guys do?
Well, I'm a management consultant. I help companies to become more profitable. In the last 40 years, we've helped over 1,000 companies go from under 2 million to 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. And we've helped two companies get over the $100 million mark.
Oh, wow.
So we design companies.
Wow.
Yeah. Where are your clients coming from? Are you getting a lot of new clients from LinkedIn?
Yeah, so I was working with I've been working with a marketing company that specifically helps advisors find clients on LinkedIn. So that's where I've chosen to meet a lot of my audience.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect space to do it.
I agree. I agree. So right now I'm getting my feet wet in the world of, building a brand because that stuff is not that's fairly foreign to me. Um, Marketing is not really my area of expertise, but I definitely want to learn how to do it and get better at it.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of doing that, and I've changed just done the obvious things that one would do when it comes to having a presence on LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, if I was advising you, I would say you've got some challenges because you look very young.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Yeah,
All
that
right.
is.
So when people want someone to manage their assets, they want to
Yeah.
know, hey, if I give this guy assets, is he going to screw it up for me? Right.
Mm,
So it's a lot easier for an old guy like me to get credibility. I mean, even if you and I had the same education, and I was an asshole and you were a very friendly guy, I'm more likely to get that business because I'm an old fucker. Right?
Yeah, that is definitely
So understand that you're going to have those challenges and you've got to compensate for those.
right. Right. No, yeah, that's definitely something I've encountered. So I'm trying different things to see how I can get around that.
Okay. I would suggest don't try different things. Do what works.
Right.
Don't try different things. Do what works. I know that sounds silly.
Right. Because like
You could waste.
what does that even mean in terms of doing what that works, right?
Well, okay, good question. The reason why we're successful is because I was taught. I worked for the world's largest management consulting firm that had been around for 85 years. So I didn't, when I joined them because I knew they were the best and because they could teach me stuff. So, I could have decided to start my own consulting business and learn by trial and error, and 20 or 40 years later, become successful at it if I didn't kill myself first. Or I can avoid 40 years of misery and just say, okay, I'm an empty sponge, right? Teach me what works.
Right.
And that's what I did. Flew down to Chicago because that's where all they are. That's where they live. And I said, teach me. Even though I was running businesses, I was told to forget everything that I knew and to learn from scratch. LinkedIn is not about selling. It's not about marketing. Anytime someone uses the word marketing or selling, I know they're not doing as well as they could be, because what happens when you try and sell someone something?
Yeah, that just nobody wants to be sold ever.
Right. They run away. Okay. So now you're chasing them.
Right.
And the faster you chase them, the faster they
More
run
than they
away.
run. Yeah, absolutely.
So instead, do the opposite. Have them come to you.
Exactly. And that's
Right.
That's what I'm learning how to do. So
Okay. Again, how you do that, it should be based on trusted circles, right? When you say, my name is Joe Weil, I'm the world's best financial advisor, people are going to say, who the fuck cares? I don't believe you, right? I don't believe you, right?
100%.
But if you had 50 people, an architect, a doctor, contractor, saying, hey, if you're looking for a financial advisor, the person I would recommend is Joel, right? So you can either stand on the soapbox and say, I'm the best, or you can have 50 other people say, hey, Joel's the best.
Right.
See the difference?
Of course, that makes a
And
massive
that's what your LinkedIn campaign should look like, and that's called trusted circles. I'll give you an example. We have a mortgage broker that does $200 million each year because people are saying, hey, you want a good mortgage broker? Call this guy. $200 million each year on LinkedIn alone. Okay, so we have people that do anywhere from 50,000 to 200 million. So.
And so I'm very curious in your services, your fees, like how does that work? Because
well, no, that's
one
something
part of my
that's free. That's something you can do on your own with the right strategy. What I would suggest is you're too expensive to do it. So if I were in your shoes, how long have you been in the financial industry?
about 3 years now.
3 years. Okay, so you're brand new. 3 years is nothing.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me.
Yeah, 3 years of credibility. I wouldn't give you more than $1,000. I would say, here's $1,000. Show me what you can do with it. But more than that for 3 years, no, that wouldn't happen. If I were in your shoes, knowing what I know, I would hire 3 assistants in the Philippines.
Interesting. And with these assistants, they would essentially run my campaign. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, they would help other people in your trusted circle, and your people would, because these assistants, if they say anything about your services, then they see, okay, they work for a financial company, they're going to ignore it, right? I can't tell you all the strategies. What I can tell you is by helping people, they in turn help you. So in other
Right.
words, if you help an interior designer, eventually she will be so grateful she will help you. If you help a contractor like Mark, eventually he will help you. If you
Right.
help an architect, eventually he will help you.
Right.
Okay. It's not a short game. It's not a shortcut. But if you want long-term results, you should be doing this. You should be helping people. Why don't you give that some thought?
No, these are things that I know. It's just I guess the it's the execution that I'm trying to.
You're not going to learn how to execute this in 10 minutes because that's all we have left.
Mhm.
You're not. You're trying to see the whole staircase before taking a single step. Don't do that. Don't get into information overload. Don't get into analysis paralysis. Okay.
Mhm.
Decide that well, first of all, you need to decide that the financial industry is where you want to be.
Right. It is. It is. This is where I
How
want.
do you know
This is
that?
what I want to build.
How do
Pardon?
you know that?
Because I feel when I work with somebody, I'm genuinely happy to do it. I'm genuinely happy to put
Yeah,
in
but
the
you could be
hours.
happy selling cars. You could be happy selling
Mhm.
Mercedes. You could be happy selling cleaning services. You could be happy, in the mortgage industry,
Mm.
right? How do you know you want to be in the financial industry?
My story, just the stuff that
Okay.
I've gone through, the things that I've seen my family gone through. Like I want to do that, be that difference for the
Okay.
people that I work with.
Okay. So tell me your story. What is your story?
When my parents immigrated here from Jamaica, um, I saw what they did growing up, and we were not. I have a sibling, a younger sibling, and I. At no point in time were without, so to speak. My parents worked really hard for what we were given. I would say that if they had just a fraction of what I now know, we would have been so much further ahead. There's so much more things that my parents would not have had to sacrifice with just a little bit of guidance, just a little bit, just someone telling them, "Hey, do this instead of that."
Okay.
And now I get to be that voice for everyone I work with, and I'm passionate about it. That's I want to figure out. I want to spend my time learning how I can do more of this, so I can reach way more people with the knowledge that I have and share that. So when it comes to financial literacy, that's me. I want that. I want to do
Okay.
that for everyone, as many people as I possibly can.
Okay. It's not exactly the answer that I was looking for, but I understand where you're coming from. The answer that I was looking for is, Leo, I've looked at the construction industry. I've looked at the kitchen industry. The kitchen industry will give me a 40% net profit. The painting industry will give me an 8% net profit.
Mm.
If I become a real estate agent, the average real estate agent salary is $30,000 a year. Car sales is averaging $80,000 a year. That tells me that you've done research into other possibilities and you decided on this because you did the research.
Mm.
Okay. Did you know that the kitchen industry produces a 40% net profit?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Didn't know that at all. I
Do you understand the lifestyle that you have to create yourself? Until you build a book of business and it's going to take you 20 years to do it. And you're going to have to make a lot of cold calls, and because it's all about cold calling for your industry. Okay. So you have to be really comfortable in embracing cold calling. And most people hate that shit, right? Most people do, but my girlfriend, as an example, one day, I mean, she's brilliant. She should be running a company like, American Express, but because of her self-esteem issues, actually, give me a second. Because of her lack of self-esteem issues, I mean, look how beautiful she is.
Yeah.
And she has the degrees, and she studied to become a financial advisor. She has her insurance license. She did all that. How long did she last? 1 day.
Wow.
1 day. Because she was not brave enough to ask, what's my lifestyle going to look like if I do this? And she invested so much time and energy learning and passing all these courses, and she didn't ask the right question. What's my lifestyle going to look like? She went out with her boss 1 day. She realized that she didn't like the rejection, and she quit 1 day. Okay. So all I'm suggesting is, before you burn your ships, because you got to burn your ships. You land on shore, you're about to get ready for the battle of your life. In order to commit to that battle, you got to burn your ships. If you say, well, if this doesn't work for me, I can always go work for my uncle. He runs whatever, right? As soon as you say that, that's the exact moment in time where you said, I'm going to fail. Okay. I'm not saying that you should turn around and do something else. I'm not saying that.
Right.
What I'm saying is, be 100% sure that you are going to do this no matter what happens. Right. And that's what I had to do in the consulting industry. I mean, to get in, there's a massive waiting list. And when you get in, if you're fortunate enough to get an interview, if you're fortunate enough to get hired, they will do whatever it takes to test you. They canceled my flights. They gave me clients that didn't want to see me. They made sure that the city that I flew into had no rental cars. They did so much shit like that because they wanted to break me, because they knew they were going to spend at least a couple of $100,000 into me to make me successful. And they weren't about to invest that if I was going to quit at first time of hardship.
Right.
Okay. You're going to face some hardship. Cold calling, people saying you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're too young. You couldn't possibly know what you're talking about. Right. And you got to make a decision. Are you stronger than that? How badly do you want this? And what are the problems you're going to face? Because you need to know what they are so you can form solutions before they happen. Okay.
Right.
Because there are easier ways to make a living. And you need to understand that. There are much easier ways to make a living. I can design a business for you. I can design $1 million business for you. And you could be making $1 million or at least $150,000 in salary in 12 to 18 months. And have the business work for you instead of you cold calling 20 people or 30 people every day. So decide. And if you decide this is what you want to do, I will help you. But I need you to make that decision first.
Right. No, I've heard what you said. That makes a lot of sense. When I got into this, I knew that I wanted to transform this into a business of my own. And I wanted to be very successful in this.
Okay.
So I just made the decision and I said to myself, for me, there is no plan Bs. I do I devote my full being to just learning and understanding and getting better at what I do. This is it for me. I when I came here and I saw the money that could be made, I knew exactly what I was getting into with the cold calling, the outreach, the no's. I've taken rejection thousands of times over. It doesn't bother me anymore. Um, it stopped bothering me a long time ago.
Okay.
This is what I want. So am I gonna make this happen or what? Like there's no other option for me here. I just gotta do what I need to do. So that's exactly why I decided to take this call so I can learn what other things, what other perspectives am I not seeing? I see things from only my viewpoint.
Okay.
What else am I not seeing? Is there avenues that I haven't really thought about?
What is it you don't know that you don't know?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And all knowledge is good knowledge. Everybody is superior to me in some way, and in that way I can learn from them. So
Okay. What
yeah,
have you learned from your parents? You talked about your parents working hard.
yeah.
So what have you learned from them?
The hard work pays. You know, they lived a
May I correct you there?
well, yes, you can, but that's what I saw growing up. That you asked me what is it that I learned from them, and I learned that yes, hard work is the
Let me tell you a quick story.
go ahead.
My dad worked hard all his life. He was a farmer.
Mhm.
When he came to this country, he was a laborer. He learned to sign his name when he was 45 years old. Even after being in this country for nearly 50 years, he couldn't really speak the language. And he kept instilling on me, Leo, work hard, nose to the grindstone, just work your ass off. I'm 11 and a half and 12 years old. How did I respond to that?
I don't think you understood what that meant at 11 to 12.
Actually, I did.
You
I
did.
did. I did. And I rejected it.
Wow.
I rejected it. And I decided that even though I didn't know what a mentor was,
Right.
right? But I knew there were successful people and unsuccessful people. People lived in, big houses, and other people lived on the street. Other people lived in small houses, right?
Right.
There's got to be a difference between working hard and working smart. That's
Right.
all I knew. Okay. And this working hard bullshit
Mm.
didn't sit well with me. So now I'm faced, okay, how do I find successful people? How do I find business owners? So the first stop I thought was church, right? There's lots of people in church, but the problem is everyone's dressed well.
Mhm.
Who's successful, who's not, right? You can't. Then I thought, okay, successful people like custom made suits. So I'm going to get a job in a tailor shop because there's no internet back then, right?
Yeah.
There's encyclopedias, but there's no internet. So what I did, I lied about my age, and I tried to get a job in a tailor shop. I found only two in the area, and I was like, I can't fuck this up. There's only two, right? I didn't have a backup plan. So I went in and put on a powder blue suit. That's all I had,
Mhm.
right? Went in and went to the first tailor shop, and I said, I'm looking for a job. And he asked, how old are you? And I said, 14. And well, I was about 11 and a half, but I was tall.
Right. Yeah.
And I should have said 16. And he says, no, you're too young. Go away. So I was crushed.
Mhm.
50% of my opportunities just went out the window, right?
Right.
The other tailor shop was even further. So I
Mhm.
should have experimented on the further one, made mistakes on that. So, anyways, I knew I had made a mistake. So I said, how do I come back from this? Right. Everybody else would, crawl away with their tail between their legs and forget about the dream. So I said, no, I'm not gonna accept that. So what I decided to do was create a bigger lie. I came back the next Saturday and I was looking for the owner. And by the way, the owner was Peter. I was looking for the owner, didn't see him, but I did see one of the salespeople. So I walked in like I owned the place, and I said, hello, David, Mr. David. Peter asked me to start vacuuming. Where's the vacuum? Right? He points to the back. So I got the vacuum and I started vacuuming, right? And I'm keeping an eye on both the front and back door. And I see Peter coming in and I see them talking. I can't hear them because the vacuum is on. As soon as he sees me, I start vacuuming even faster, right? He comes over, taps me on the shoulder because I turn around and I turn off the vacuum. He says, what are you doing? I said, I'm vacuuming. And he says, yo, get out of here. I told you last week you don't have a job, right? I come back the following Saturday, right? This time he lets me finish vacuuming. Then he throws me out. Okay.
Okay.
I even though he throws me out, I'm seeing progress, right?
Right.
Eventually he offers me a job. Okay. Now, part-time, I mean, after 6 months or a year, part-time, I'm starting to sell more than the lowest salesperson. Now I'm getting responsibility. I'm getting, I got the belt rack, the sock rack, and the tie rack. I'm responsible for that because, Peter was a great guy, great mentor. I still lecture about him. And he gave me responsibility. And he even allowed me to order. So every time a salesperson came in, belts or socks or ties, I was in charge of that, right? So when a salesperson came in, the first salesperson was for socks. And I looked at the sock rack and it was brown, black, and the odd white sock for cruising. And I said, no, these are boring. Give me something with polka dots or stripes or something, right? And is it, well, I've shown Peter that he's never considered that. Well, I'm in charge. Show it to me. So I ordered it and I went to Peter, get him a signature and he goes, are you sure? I said, yes. Right? He signed for it, came in. Now, every time I'm not allowed to sell, I'm only allowed to sell shirts, socks, ties, belts, and so on. I'm not allowed to sell suits. Okay.
Right.
I'm not even allowed to sell pants.
Okay.
But every time I see a salesperson showing a client a suit or something, I always bring the polka dot or the striped socks that match that suit, and I, under his arm, I put it with the suit, with a matching tie, right? So sales are starting to increase because now they're starting to push this stuff, right?
Okay.
So, and I met a lot of very successful people. Mr. Edwards, a retired business owner, took me under his wing. I offered to buy him lunch. Do you think I could afford to buy him lunch? But he took me to lunch and he just filled my brain. My brain was, craved information, and he took the time to educate me, right? So it's about building relationships. It's about helping people. Okay? That's how you're going to be successful. But
I understand that.
the fastest way to build relationships is through stepping stone relationships. As an example, find a successful real estate agent. That successful real estate agent is not going to compete with you, and he knows 50 or 100 very successful people, right? He wants to help these people because he wants to list and sell more houses, right? He is going to recommend, the best contractor, the best interior designer, the best wealth advisor, right? The best, because he doesn't want to say, let me list your house. He's going to say, hey, I've got, and he's starting conversations. I understand you're doing some renovations. I've got this fantastic interior designer, right? So he's always pushing other people, not his services. Because if you truly want to help people, you don't talk about your services. Okay? Which is the opposite of what your training tells you.
Hmm. Hmm. No, no, I hear you. I hear you fully, actually.
By the way, I've got a couple of people waiting on my next call.
Yeah, yes, I realize it's 3:02 and we're 2 minutes over time.
Yeah,
This conversation was incredibly valuable. So firstly, thank you. There's
my
a
pleasure.
lot I gotta just there's a lot I gotta digest from this.
Yes. Give it some thought. If you want to schedule another call, I would encourage you to do that. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, Leon, for your time. I
Take care,
appreciate it.
Joel.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye.